We begin tonight with the latest developments on the Ebola outbreak.
One day after we first reported that an American journalist tested positive for the disease in West Africa, we now know the patient has close ties to Rhode Island.
33-year-old Ashoka Mukpo was working as a freelance journalist for NBC when he contracted Ebola. We learned he went to high school in Providence and his parents still live here.
Eyewitness News reporter Kelly Sullivan is standing by with new developments on the outbreak.
But our in-depth coverage will begin tonight with Susan Campbell. She spoke to Mukpo's mother, who says she's been in constant contact with her son.
For this family tonight, there's a lot of fear, but there's also a lot of hope. Mukpo's mother tells me her son's illness is in its early stages and that his prognosis is good. Ashoka Mukpo was on assignment covering the Ebola outbreak in Liberia when he was diagnosed with the deadly disease.
Of course, he's very, very frightened, but his spirits are relatively good.
Across an ocean, Ashoka's mother is anxiously awaiting her son's return to the United States.
I think I will only rest knowing when he's getting the best medical care, has turned the corner to good health, and is back on American soil.
We learned Ashoka will be flown to the U.S. on Sunday, and his father tells us the 33-year-old will be treated at a hospital in Nebraska. Ashoka had been in Liberia for 2 years doing humanitarian work. He returned home to Providence for the summer, but when he saw the crisis in Liberia unfolding, his mother says he felt a calling to go back to West Africa. She tells us she pleaded with him to stay home.
I was really distraught, but Ashoka is very smart, he's very passionate, and he's very committed, and there was no way to change his mind. He felt it was very important to go back and to document the impact that this is having.
In a statement, NBC News said Mukpo was working as a cameraman with Dr. Nancy Snyderman. The network says the entire team will be flown home on a private plane and will self-quarantine for 21 days. Mukpo had just been hired to freelance for NBC News on Tuesday. Mike and Shannon.
Susan, what did Ashoka Mukpo's mother have to say about the conditions of the medical clinics in Liberia where her son is being treated?
Right now, he's being treated at the Doctors Without Borders clinic in Monrovia. She says they're doing the very best they can, but she says, of course, these aren't conditions that we would be used to in the United States. He's being treated right now in a tent. May be hard for us to imagine, but those are the conditions right now because everything in the country is just so overwhelmed with so many people who are sick. Back to you guys.
All right, Susan Campbell, thank you very much. We'll check back with you again on Eyewitness News at 6. And we have more details now on the local roots of the latest American infected with Ebola. Mukpo was a 1999 graduate of the Moses Brown School in Providence. Today, we spoke to the head of the school, who says that even though he personally did not cross paths with Mukpo, he is remembered fondly among the Moses Brown community.
He was known as a passionate student, a creative student, a good writer. He worked on our student newspaper. He was quite athletic also. He played 3 sports here, football, wrestling, and spring track. The fact that he went into a career as a news person, a journalist and cameraman, I guess doesn't surprise us. He was extremely creative from what I understand here, and very passionate.
And we've learned the school plans to use Mukpo's situation as a teaching tool as part of a medical ethics class studying the Ebola outbreak.
And as the medical team in Nebraska awaits Mukpo's arrival, they are going over their procedures and protocols.
During a late afternoon news conference, the medical team at the Nebraska Medical Center talked about the steps they're taking in preparation for Mukpo's treatment.
We are mobilizing what we call our incident command structure, and that the primary focus of that are lines of communication both internally and externally so that we can be best prepared when we receive more information regarding this individual's arrival.
Now, the medical team in Nebraska has experience with Ebola patients. You'll remember Dr. Rick Segra, a Massachusetts native, was successfully treated at the Nebraska Medical Center when he contracted the Ebola virus.